Hey, all you better beings. I have taken a bit of a hiatus from checking in, but as we are now well into our coronavirus quarantine, a word popped into my head today, and that is the word pace. And interestingly enough, that is actually the word that I chose as the focus for my theme for the year. Of course, when I chose that, I had a really different idea of what pace was going to mean for me this year. But I'm finding that without a definitive end in sight to our current situation, motivation is starting to wane. Perhaps a bit of compassion fatigue is beginning to set in. People are getting restless, antsy. I know I'm feeling that as well. I can tell that my thread is starting to fray a bit because I've recently become a little irritated with my four-legged critters. I'm never irritated with them. They can do anything they want, from scratch on my furniture to wake me up at all hours of the night. But I'm finding that they're just starting to be little jerks. At least that's how I feel. They want me constantly, and I'm recognizing that I'm losing a bit of patience. So what does that mean for me? That means I need to really stop and take a time out and check in on myself. What am I doing? What am I not doing? And really start to implement the idea of pacing. I was thinking about this earlier in terms of running a marathon. I actually completed the Honolulu Marathon twice. I'm not going to go as far as to say that I ran it because a 13+ minute mile in my book is not running. Nevertheless, the very first time I did it, I knew the course and I knew that the finish line was at Kapiolani Park, but I didn't know exactly what that looked like. So I clearly remember cresting Diamond Head, the hill over Diamond Head Boulevard, and it's this gorgeous, stunning view. And I see a banner not too far away, and I'm thinking, oh, that's amazing. The finish line is right there. It's at this end of the park. I got it. And then as I approached that banner, I was a bit demoralized because the banner said, "You're almost there." I thought, okay, well, I'm almost there, so I can keep pushing. I got it. And then I saw another banner, and I thought, okay, surely this is the finish line. Let me do it. Let me push. And then that banner said, "Don't quit now." And I thought, oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay, I got it. We got to just keep going. We're almost there. And then I saw a third banner, and I was very skeptical. I did not get my hopes up. I didn't know what to do. I'm really glad I didn't, because that banner said, "Only 0.2 miles to go." And what I realized was all of this false hope really slowed me down. It didn't motivate me. It didn't spur me on. Maybe that first one did, but then I had to kind of hold back because I honestly didn't know where the finish line was. So the following year, when I ran it with my very best friend Lisa, I had an expectation. I knew where that finish line was. I was able to manage not only my energy and expectation, but my friends as well. Because false hope is, I think, really harmful, quite honestly. So how does that relate to this current situation? We don't know when this is ending. And by ending, I mean when we can even begin to resume somewhat normal daily activity. And even when we start doing that, how normal is it going to be, right? There is a lot of unknown. So what I've decided to do is just sit and reflect and kind of check in on myself. How did I come out of the gate? I came out of this gate pretty strong. I mean, I had, like I mentioned, I had my pity party for myself. But then once I recognized this was happening, I thought, okay, how do I want to come out of this? What do I need to do to make sure that that happens? And I put systems in place, and I have been, for the most part, pretty dedicated to those systems. But they're getting tiring. I always think you can do anything for a little bit of time, but not knowing where the end is, it starts to kind of ebb and flow as to how motivated I am to keep on doing these things that are really necessary. And I do have to remind myself that yes, this is a short, finite period of time. I just don't know how short and how finite that is. So I am going to now have to pace myself. And what that means is I am going to allow myself to have breaks where maybe I wasn't. I'm going to allow myself to step back from some things that I was super gung-ho about. Not give them up altogether, but certainly not keep up this rigid schedule that I had implemented, because that is what I knew was going to help me be successful through this very uncertain time. Now seeing that, okay, we're still going through it, no end in sight, I know I'm going to have to pull back or I'm going to burn out. And that is a very real scenario for a lot of people. And that is not even just talking about the current situation that we're in. People burn out on a lot of things, and it's because it's all at once, everything gung-ho, and you can't keep that up. It's not sustainable. So how does this help you? Let me see if I can help you. I don't know if it does or not, but check in on yourself. Take a little step back and just reflect. How did you come out of the gate, right? Did you immediately just give up and say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do? Maybe it's time to reset that, because we are going to end at some point, so maybe you can push through that finish line and really finish strong. Maybe you did come out really, really strong, and perhaps it is okay to ease up and kind of coast through the finish line. Maybe you've been back and forth a little bit all along the way, and you might want to just keep on doing that, right? Everybody is going to navigate this time very differently. But I know for me, if I don't take a little bit of time to reflect and assess how it's been going, and also to determine how much I have left in my tank to get me through, there's a good chance I'm going to hit burnout and then I'm just going to stop. And for me, that's just not a really acceptable option. So that's my approach to what hopefully is a relatively short period of time going forward. Given the situation and how things continue to change day by day, week by week, I'm sure I'm going to have another check-in point. Perhaps it's in a week or 2 weeks. And I think that's a really important thing for people to establish, is just ways and times to check in on yourself. I think a lot of people have been really, really dedicated to checking in on others, and that is amazing. I think we should continue to do that. But please don't forget to check in on yourself. Are you honoring your needs? Your need for rest, your need for movement, your need for healthy food, your need to just let go and give in, right? We do need to honor all of those needs, and finding the appropriate balance for each person is really just what we have to do to make sure that eventually when we do come out of this, that we don't look upon the time that we spent with regret, wishing that we would have done it differently. So as we forge ahead and continue to move on, I know I'm going to continue to do my best to be a better being, and I hope that you all will as well. Go and have a fantastic day, week, month, whatever you need to do. Check in, honor yourself, and come out looking healthy, strong, vibrant, and satisfied on the other end of this. All right, everybody, go and be a better being.